Crawl spaces. Many homes and cottages without basements are built over crawl spaces. That is, the floor of the house is built over an excavation deep enough for someone to gain access to the underfloor space by crawling. The floor can be concrete, but most often clay, sand, rock, or any combination. This space can house the furnace and ductwork as well as the hot water tank and electrical. In most cases, crawl spaces are dark, damp, and musty smelling. Crawl spaces can be home to many insects that thrive in a damp, cool environment. People often heat the crawl space, thinking the heat will dry out the area. Unfortunately, if your crawl space is sand, clay, or rock, the heat draws in more moisture and increases the relative humidity, resulting in conditions worse for your flooring. The exposed earth contributes a lot of water vapor into the crawl space air. Moisture travels upward from the soil by capillary action and evaporates at a rate of up to 13 gallons per day for a 1,000 square foot home. It is not possible to dry out the earth in a crawl space. Groundwater can also enter under the footings, between the footings and the walls, through the block walls, and also through cracks in concrete poured foundations. Putting a dehumidifier in the crawl space will not solve the problem if the crawl space is not encapsulated. Crawl space problems can be corrected by covering the exposed earth with a minimum 12 mil poly, overlapped at least 6 inches and taped at joints, as well as going up the wall 12 inches and taping. If the block wall is damp or showing signs of water damage, go up the wall and tape to the sill plate. Cover the area and seal it to prevent the moisture from being able to vaporize and enter the subfloor. Insulate the walls but not the ceiling. Spray foam is the best choice as it is unaffected by moisture. By encapsulating the crawl space, you create a clean, dry crawl space that isn't affected by moisture in the soil or the outside air. The subfloor moisture content over crawl spaces can range from 10 to 20%. Crawl spaces encapsulated range from 9 to 12%. The wood flooring manufactured with a moisture content between 6 to 9% should sit on site and not be installed until it is within 2% moisture content of the subfloor. Stack the wood in a log cabin pattern, allowing the air to flow as evenly as possible through the flooring. Wood naturally dries and gains moisture from the ends, so the ends will be affected first. Different grains shrink and expand at different rates. So if you have chosen a solid floor width, variations from moisture gain during acclimation process should be expected, especially in wider boards. Engineered flooring is manufactured to be more stable and will handle the acclimation process better than solid. Some solids, like our live sawn white oak, will handle this situation almost as good as engineered. Even with the flooring acclimated, proper expansion space as per our installation guidelines must be followed. Not acclimating the hardwood flooring to these higher moisture conditions can cause cupping and even buckling if proper expansion space has not been allowed. Although you are living upstairs, 40 to 70% of the air you breathe is coming from your crawl space through the stack effect, which creates an airflow in your home from the bottom to the top. The musty smell in a crawl space is the off-gassing of mold growing, which is definitely not good air to breathe. If this is the smell you notice on arrival to your cottage, you are not breathing fresh country air. Viruses and bacteria thrive in this high humidity, stagnant air from the crawl space. This information is on the ASHRAE humidity and health chart. Humans and wood flooring enjoy the same conditions, which is 60 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit and a relative humidity between 30 to 50%. Not long ago, it was recommended that vents be placed in the crawl space to promote airflow. This did not make any sense, because in the winter, the colder outside air was allowed into the crawl space, making the subfloor cold. In summer, the warmer, humid air entering the cooler crawl space increases the humidity 2.2% for each degree Fahrenheit. For example, outside air with a temperature of 80 degrees Fahrenheit and humidity of 70% enters a crawl space that is 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Doing the math on this one, 80 degrees Fahrenheit minus 65 degrees Fahrenheit equals 15 times 2.2, which raises the humidity 33%. Adding 33% to the already 70% equals 103%. which we know can't be more than 100%. Once the humidity reaches 100%, condensation forms on all cool surfaces, like ductwork, steel beams, and windows. Condensation makes everything wet, which promotes mold to grow and wood exposed in the crawlspace to rot. After the crawlspace is sealed up, a dehumidifier will help keep the humidity down. There is also a system called HumiFresh, which reverses the stack effect by bringing the air from upstairs and exhausting it out through the crawlspace. The company says the system controls the humidity and uses much less energy than a dehumidifier. I would recommend a humidistat with a probe placed in the crawlspace to continually monitor what is happening in the crawlspace. We hope this information has been helpful. Please call or email for information more detailed to your region and project. For more information, see our videos, Crawlspace and Hardwood Flooring, Acclimation of Hardwood Flooring, Understanding Relative Humidity and Hardwood Flooring, Live Sawn Hardwood Flooring, Wide Plank Solid Wood Flooring.